Yeah, this YouTube video is going to be on a Rapture update. I personally don't believe the Rapture is going to happen in 2021 on Feast of Trumpets. Okay, that I was saying it could be. I was thinking it is because of the 7, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. I mean, it's still possible. I could be wrong, but I'm like maybe 30 or 40% that it's going to happen this year. And the only reason I'm saying that is because you have to think about it. Okay, the Bible talks about weapons being burned 7 years. Okay, and that the temple is going to get made. Okay, and the Gog and Magog war goes on. I don't see the prophecy of Elam happening. Damascus could theoretically be considered a ruinous heap already because it's already in rubbles. Okay, but the prophecy of Elam hasn't happened yet. Gog and Magog hasn't happened yet. And the reason I think Gog and Magog has to happen or be in the beginning or starting to happen is because my assumption is, and this is only based on an assumption, this is what I'm theorizing. I have no proof. I'm not going to be here because the rapture is going to happen. But what I think is going to happen is, before the Antichrist is revealed, Gog and Magog break out. Okay? Gog and Magog break out. The Antichrist comes on the scene, and he uses policies to enforce what he wants to do. He's not going to use armies. He's going to use policies. The Bible says, by his policies he will cause craft to prosper. So he's going to use a policy, which is going to be, I guess they keep calling it a peace treaty, which I just think that's a supplement. That's an added thing in to the big overall agreement, okay, or covenant. It's just a part of the thing. I don't think it's the main meat and potatoes of the actual covenant. I think it's just a supplement added into the covenant. Okay, and what I think it's going to be is probably going to be, okay, Israel's going to agree to separate and divide Jerusalem into a two-state solution in exchange for the right to build the third temple. Okay, everybody's going to agree to it, sign off on it. They're going to say, yeah, we got peace and safety. Okay, let's go ahead and burn weapons. Start burning weapons. Why are they getting all the weapons to burn? They're burning all the weapons from the Gog and Magog war that just took place, because why would you sign a so-called peace treaty or any covenant or any treaty if there isn't a war going on? Okay, there's no reason for Israel to say okay and give in to any demands made by anybody if there's no war broken out. Okay, so I think Gog and Magog happened. And the reason I don't think it's going to be in September of this year is because, let me point something out to you. Go to Psalms. I'm only going to do this real quick. Let me get my Bible real fast. Okay? Because you can read it yourself. I'm not going to read the Bible to you. You're big enough to read your own Bible yourself. Okay? But if you read Psalms 120, it says, verse 2, deliver me from lying lips. Okay? Everybody was told a lie. Okay? And you know what I'm referring to. Okay? Psalms 21, okay, which is the year 2021, okay, and the Psalms 120 is the year 2020. Okay, that's what I'm thinking it is, okay? So in Psalms 121, it says, verse 7, read this, all you got to do is read verse 7 of Psalms 121, I mean, read Psalms 121, verse 7, it says, preserve me from evil. Well, the evil going around is everybody taking the V. That's the evil that he's protecting you from right now. So in Psalms 122, which is the year 2022, it says, let us go into the house of the Lord, which is referring to the third temple, which means the third temple is probably being constructed or beginning to be constructed or talking about being constructed in the year 2022. Okay? That's just my interpretation of Bible prophecy and from what I'm saying. Like I said, you have to check everything yourself. You have to do your own prayer, your own Bible study. Don't take my word for it. But I don't believe the rapture is going to happen this time. And like I said in many other videos, I think the Feast of Trumpets is actually when the beginning of the tribulation begins. And the reason I say it's beginning of the tribulation is because that the Jewish people are looking for their Messiah on a Feast of Trumpets. we all know it's not going to be the real Messiah. It's going to be the Antichrist Messiah, the false Messiah. And Israel, Jewish people in Israel, you can check it yourself, are looking for the Messiah to be revealed on a Feast of Trumpets. So I believe the tribulation begins on a Feast of Trumpets. And another tidbit, okay? I don't know, maybe you can leave it in the comments section, but if the temple is built, okay, not if, but when the temple gets built, okay, this is my assumption. The temple gets built because it's part of the agreement that the Antichrist makes with the many, okay, is to cut Israel in half, divide the land, so they can start building the construction of the third temple. Let's assume it takes 3 years to build the temple because they're going to make it out of stone, steel bricks like it was back in biblical times. It ain't just going to be a tent. I don't think it's going to be a tent. They can just erect it and be done with it like in a couple of days or a month. I think it's going to be an actual physical, real stone temple like was had back in biblical times. And the reason I'm saying that the 3 years, if you think about it, the 3 years, say 3 years to build the temple, but in the book of Daniel it talks about in the middle he calls the abomination desolation, he calls the sacrifice of oblation to cease, and then the abomination for desolation, I don't forget exactly how it goes, but you know what I'm talking about. So basically the Jewish people, my point is basically the Jewish people are only going to have their temple 6 months. It's going to take 3 years to build. In the middle he's going to stop it. So they're only going to have six months to play in the temple and be in the temple and do sacrifices in the temple. Then he takes it over in the middle of the tribulation at the 3.5 year mark. So that's what I'm saying. The first 3.5 years they're building the temple. The 0.5 is when Israel takes it over and starts doing the sacrifices. Then after the 6 months of doing sacrifices, he says, enough, I'm taking the temple over. That's my opinion. All right, thank you for taking the time to watch this video.